Hi guys. So the question today is, don't worry, it's not going to be too deep, or you don't have to run away. Um, do you think, sometimes I see videos on migration or immigration, and I know they're all from like those right-wing channels, so I know obviously they're going to stir you up. So I think, oh, okay, obviously these are things that they focus on, and um, so I tend to steer away from them, forget them. But do you guys think this, the immigration here in the UK is it really out of control, or is it just, I don't know, I can't get right here. Is it just like the media just stirring things up? So I thought, yeah, it's just the media, stirring things up until yesterday. So my my daughter came from London and she went to a B&B in Norwich. All this area around here in Norfolk and Norwich, there's all like local Norfolk people. There's a Scottish guy who lives next door. Um, there's famous actors. They're all like English or from the UK. And when I went to I went to visit my daughter and stayed. I went yesterday and the day before, so I came back at night and stayed here. So I went there twice. When I travelled there, when I arrived there, I looked at the area. It looked really dingy. It looked horrible, and it looked like some areas like Harlesden in London or Wilson. I thought, oh wow, okay, this is nice. Kind of, it looks a bit like where I used to live in London. So I parked up and I couldn't find where she. I knew the name of the road, but I didn't have the Google. Can you call it maps or anything? So I was looking around, and I was gonna ask someone, where's this Aylesford Road or something. And so there was a short guy. He had curly hair. He had these headphones on, right? And I don't know where he was from. I thought, oh, he doesn't look English. Like, I don't know where he's from, like Middle Eastern, or I don't know. I don't really know. He was a young guy, maybe 18 to 20, and he was like that walking. And I think he saw me, and then he put his head down. So I said to him, excuse me," and he kept walking by me. I said, excuse me." I know he saw me. He just ghosted me. He just walked straight by. I thought, hey, all right. So then I walked up. I thought, this is not a good area. So there was this white guy, this Australian young guy, who was about 20, 25. And I said, do you know what this road is, please? And he said, yeah, you're on it now. I said, oh, okay, thanks. I said, is this like not a nice area? He said, yeah, this is a bad area. I said, oh, obviously you must be renting. You don't actually live here. He said, yeah, just renting and then going. And then he went for his jog. So he was a nice guy. Then there was a shop, like an international shop, like, and then one guy with a massive beard, like a Muslim guy, looking at some workers and they were working outside. Right, I thought, I've seen these kind of shops in London, right? Like those international shops, or the Allah, I don't know what, Abdul, whatever. Um, so then I recalled when I was driving into the area, I thought, oh, there's a black lady, that's nice. Then I thought, oh, isn't a black man another one? I thought, I've never seen so many black people in like one day, like for years. And I thought, oh, okay, there's a university here or something. But they didn't look university age. I saw like an Indian or Pakistani woman. And I thought, where are the white people? Well, then I saw this guy, and he's an Australian guy, like a tourist or whatever. I thought, no wonder this area looks like a ghetto, right? And so um so I went to see my daughter and her mum, and I'd really had a nice time. And she mentioned, she said, this area is so, it's like a, not, she didn't say ghetto. She said, it's like a slum. It's really, she's like, she was nervous because the kind of people she saw, like Muslims. I mean, like her family, my daughter's family, like originally are Muslim, from her mother's side. So it's not something, it's not Islamophobic. She was saying, like, when she said Muslim, she meant, people from like the Middle East and stuff like that, Pakistan. But as a woman, like, as both of them are women, they probably felt vulnerable. What bloody area have we landed in? Walking out. They didn't walk out at night. You know, and yeah, every time I drove back, all I saw was like black guys, like Pakistani looking guys. That's it. I saw one white woman, an old woman, and then as you move out of that area, then inside the cars, you'll see white English people and whatever. I thought, this is just around the corner. Because I thought, yeah, I live in the countryside. They're in London, Bradford, whatever, Manchester. They could do what they want. I'm living in the countryside. I've got my buffer zone here. But just down the road in Norwich, I didn't know that these places existed so close. Like, initially I thought, oh, this is nice, because you've got like almost, they're all terraced houses, but they weren't Victorian houses, maybe Tudor or something like that. And I'm used to that. I really love those houses. And then, like, you see like one black guy, one Pakistani guy, you think, oh, this is nice, because I'm so used to living in London and seeing, like different kinds of people, it doesn't mean that, oh, yeah, well, I like black people and Pakistani, no matter if they're good or bad, I like people if they're good, right? So initially I thought, oh, yeah, that's quite cool. But then that's all you see. I didn't see any whites. One guy, he was like a tourist, an Australian guy, and on the way back, I think it was an old woman and maybe another old man. That's it. That's it. Bloody hell. And I thought, Norwich is quite bright, as they say. And it's only down the road. I thought I live far away from that. I live in a rural area, which I do. And see, the thing is, like, this house is expensive, and you can buy your way out of the ghetto. You don't have to live around people who are poor and there is crime. It's not necessarily true that people who are poor commit crime, but if you're poor, you can't get out of the ghetto. That's it. You're stuck. But if you're in the countryside, even if you had bad people living around you, you still have a buffer zone, like a few acres. You can have dogs to guard your property, and you can stay there. Yeah, bloody hell. And I thought, oh wow. So I thought, is it true? Hey, I wonder if it's true. All this like immigration stuff and all this scaremongering that, there was one Muslim guy saying that the demise of the whites is imminent in the UK or something like that. Your end is near. I thought, bloody hell. There's another video where there's this white guy, he converted to Islam. He's all dancing around with a stupid hat. I don't know what he's got, and like a pajama or something, and a little like ginger beard or whatever it is. And somebody filming him saying, "You can't go in there. That's a church." He goes, "No, it's not a church. It's become a mosque now. Like they're taking away churches, like old churches. Maybe they're not used, and they're turning them into mosques or into, I don't know, places." Leisure places or whatever, and he was all happy dancing around. my immediate thought is, what a traitor. I know I shouldn't have said that, but I shouldn't have thought that. But that was my immediate thought. You know, you're prancing around, yeah, jumping around. Anyway, yeah, so I don't watch those videos anymore. There seems to be a lot going on in Ireland, in Dublin, in Ireland, and maybe Northern Ireland. Yeah, Northern Ireland as well, with migrants. You know, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. But there's that. What's her name? You know that. What's her name? Ursula von der Leyen. Von der Leyen. That Skeletor, Madam Skeletor, Miss Skeletor. You know, she's got white hair and skinny, and she's the head of the you know, the European Union. You know, that like communist experiment. So she says, I think in a speech recently, she said something like, the problem is, you know, so the problem with all these migrants coming in, it's not their problem. It's the illegal smuggling gangs. Forget about that. They came into the country illegally. They're not criminals. No, forget about them. Once they're in the country, forget about them. They've got some kind of amnesty, right? Like, I break into someone's house illegally, and you know, like, I'm going to be in trouble, right? But no, they break into the country. Oh, you know. So what I was going to say was, yeah, she was saying the way to stop the boats is to smash the smuggling gangs. The way to smash the smuggling gangs is to introduce more legal migration, so they don't have to go through illegal route. I mean, this woman is evil, absolutely evil. She doesn't give a doesn't care about the indigenous, like, European people. And then someone might say, what do you mean indigenous? The black people are still European. You know exactly what I mean. There's no place that no place that Europeans can call home if they're sorry to say it, but if their continent is invaded, it's being invaded, right? For no fault of the people that come in, those people that some people call the invaders. They're not, but they will change the demographics, and they want to come to just better their lives and get a better job and everything. But they will change the demographics. It's the people that manipulate all this that know what can happen. You know, that those people are just pawns. They're given the opportunity. They're tempted to come. And yeah, it's people like that von der Leyen that are evil, really. And before her, Angela Merkel. They are evil human beings, you know. They don't care about the European people. You've got people that come here from Pakistan and they say, I want to go home. And so they go home to Pakistan and they love it, the lovely food and everything. You know, a man can find a nice Indian woman, Punjabi woman, like Bangladeshi woman, go back home, you know, because there's still that lovely kind of tradition of their people there, like lovely food and everything. And it's not watered down with whites or blacks or Chinese. They have their own lovely culture, right? So Pakistani people can go home. And it's a beautiful feeling, I tell you, because I used to do that when I was younger. Go home, go to Sicily, where my parents came from. And it feels lovely, you know, to not have all this globalization and stuff, you know. Like, could you imagine in Africa as well? It's the same thing. Like, you can be from Africa and you go back home to Africa. But imagine Nigeria was full of like whites, Chinese, Mongolians, and then they would think, "Oh, what's the point in going back? It's not Nigeria anymore. And this is horrible, you know." And then that black person, you know, by some lefty Nigerians will say, "You're racist, xenophobe." You can't see that happening, but I see it happening. In the future, it will happen. You know, this wokery will come for them as well. For everybody, actually. So yeah, this von der Leyen, Ursula von der Leyen, she is the one that accepted all the, jabs, and she was making money. She was making money from those, the vaccine companies, from the vaccine. Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think it's exaggerated, or do you think like the demographics are changing? Some like bright spark might say the demographics are changing, but that's fine. We'll all be fine, or we'll all be dead and buried by the time Sharia law encompasses the whole of the UK. I don't know. Some people say like you have to take a stand because it's going to come for you, whether you go to the hills, whether you go. What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? Like, I even mentioned just a few things, and like my channel gets like downgraded. I'm lucky I'm not demonetized or terminated. But if you go on about things too much, that's what's going to happen. And I don't go on about things too much because, believe it or not, I love my black brothers and sisters and my Muslim ones. I want everyone to convert to my religion, which is the Gerald religion, or whatever. And what's that? Don't worry, I'll make one up. It's one where you don't believe the government, you don't believe the bollocks. In the past, you see, yeah, don't go on about the conspiracy theory, Gerald. Okay, just give me my 1 minute to rant. In the past, the elites realized via consumerism, right? You can control people without lifting one finger, right? Because people always have to consume, always have to buy this, buy that, and they see that, oh look, Robert's got a nice car, Janet's got a nice dress. Whereas before there wasn't all this bollocks and people could revolt against the government. But now people are too busy trying to get the next PlayStation, trying to make money so they can buy the next car, trying to make money. So you see, they're trapped in this wheel and they won't revolt. They've become slaves again, slaves to consumerism. Some say, it's not a bad thing. Well, I suppose for the governments it's not a bad thing. I think the word government means, well, the business of government is to govern, right? Government meant is mind. Govern is to control. Mind control. So they control the minds of the masses. They kind of have to, don't they? Because they don't want people to revolt. And a nice way, a kind of invisible way to do it is to create consumerism. And so people are hell-bent buying, thinking about buying the new thing, the new mobile phone. They have to work for it, right? They have to work and be slaves in order to continue to get the dopamine highs from buying this, buying that, consumerism. Anyway, that was supposed to be. I can talk about that another day. I don't know much about that. But yeah, is it? Do you guys think it's true that we're being inundated with, and black guys and I don't know, Asian guys, Indian guys? You can speak up as well. It's not just. People think, it's just white people that care about this. You get blacks that really care about this as well, that are complaining. You get blacks, Indians, like Asians, that are saying enough is enough. Enough is enough, You think that Indian guys or black guys want to live in a ghetto. They come to England, or they remember an England where most of the people were white British, or at least European, but no, white British. And that's what made England England, you know. But when you go to London, like this was years ago, I had some Japanese friends, and they said, where are English people? I said English people are outside London, not in London, because and this was back in the 90s. Is it the late 90s? Yeah, and she and a few of her friends, they were surprised that there were no English people in London. Where are English people? Yeah, so even the Japanese said that. No, don't like. So, like, they thought they come to London to see England, and they think that's where the white English people will be. But when they come and they see like Mogadishu, like Bangladesh, like they think, you know, is that racist of them? Is it racist of us if we go to like a country like Nigeria and we see lots of white people, Chinese, Mongolians, Indians, and very few black Nigerians? If we say, what's this? Is this Nigeria or what? Does that make us racist? No. We just want to see Nigerians, you know? Or you go to Sicily, you want to see Sicilians. You want to go to England, you want to see English. You still can have other people there, like, but when it's like 60, 70% like non-native people, then it's not Nigeria anymore. It's not Sicily anymore. It's not England anymore, you know? And what's wrong with that? There's a lot wrong with that. And a lot of the countries don't allow it. Could you imagine China allowing all this immigration? Or in Russia? It's not going to happen. In fact, I think they use these illegal immigrants as weapons. They did, you know, via, is it Belarus, through into Poland as a kind of weapon, and Poland realized this. So I wonder if these guys are coming from all these countries, and Russia and China are helping bring, because they know that's going to be the downfall of the West. Because all these guys that come, they're not like, I don't know, they're not like engineers, brain surgeons, teachers, you know, they're not. So what are they going to do? They're going to be like me, like millions of me. I can't do anything. Even worse than me, because they've probably seen bad stuff, you know, like people being killed and, K-worded and stuff. So, you know, you have like a country full of refugees, and what's the GDP going to be? You know, it's going to go down. Well, they could do cleaning jobs. You think they're going to want to do cleaning jobs? They could have done that in their own country. They want to come here because it's like heaven. They want to get money from the government. They want nice English women, white women. They want a nice house. They come here because it's like the promised land. They're not going to want to be like everyone else. You know, I don't make money and I'm going to be poor. They don't want that, you know? That's what I think. Coming from, you know, my mouth, the son of immigrants themselves, I can't say I'm not against migration, because it's not for me to say. It's for the English people who have lived here for thousands of years or whatever. It's for them to say. This is what I don't like. When you've got like sons or daughters of immigrants, like Nigel Farage, no, Nigel Farage is okay, but he's controlled opposition. Once he gets into power, you'll see what happens. But yeah, even us, like descendants of migrants, who are we to talk? It's the English people's country. It's the Irish, their country. The Scottish is their country. They should be the one that have the right to speak up the most. You know, their voices should be heard the most. That's fucking racist. No, it's not racist. In China, I remember People who lived in Beijing, they call them Lao Beijing, or the old Beijing people who've lived there for centuries or whatever, for a long time, I assume. They would have more rights than people from outside of Beijing when it comes to housing and things like that. So the people outside Beijing, they might be from other regions. So, for example, Londoners, you'd have Londoners and you'd have the Brummies and Scots. The Londoners, the Cockneys, they would have more rights when it comes to housing and things like that than people from Birmingham. Let's say going back to 1950s or whatever. I'm not saying this happened here. I'm saying as an example, you know, if you transplant this idea to the UK. So why shouldn't, like, the English people have more rights than anyone else? It's surely their country. But because of democracy and all this rubbish, it's not their country anymore. It's anybody who arrives on the shores of this country illegally. No, what am I talking about? It is illegal. They can come illegally and then say it's their country. And if enough people like this, yeah, what do you mean like this? Yeah, illegal, criminals. If enough criminals come in and say this is our country, and they come from a certain religion, they can start voting in a government that they want. So suddenly, well, not suddenly, it will take time, but illegal immigrants or criminals come in, they've got the same rights as anybody else, they can gain political power, and they can overthrow the people that have been here for thousands of years. I don't think that's right. It's definitely not right, you know. And because the English people are so tolerant, you know, I think that the tolerance is fading away though. But I don't know if it'll be too late, because basically the numbers, the demographics have changed, I think, and you know, like, these guys will have more and more children, whereas the indigenous or white populations, I just want to have one child, you know, or, you know, they're infected with feminism. I don't want any children. I'm a self-made woman. And this has been put into our society on purpose. So the whites, they've been infected with this virus, this Trojan horse of cultural Marxism. So this has caused feminism. You know, I'm my own woman. I'm an independent woman, and gay, lesbian, LBGTBF, you know, PDF file, or male attracted persons, all kind of degeneracy, right? Meanwhile, these guys that come in are very traditional. They, man, woman, have lots of children. They will outbreed us, and then God knows what will happen. But this is the videos. Sometimes I watch them, but sometimes I don't. They're quite negative, because they paint a really dark picture. I don't know where I'm going to go. To the moon? Where can you go? Stand and fight. What are you going to fight with? It's not as if you can protect yourself like in the States and have something. What can you do? I've got 6 dogs. That's the only thing I've got. Booby trap the the place, you know, with holes, or, you know, like trapdoors. What can you do when you've got lots of groups of men, military age, and then they turn, if they did turn, you know? And the thing is, they'll go for women first, and it's all these women, like, with these placards, refugees welcome, come on. Like, I think there was, like, one of these refugees, or 2 of these refugees, raped a 15-year-old or something, you know, the usual, right? And there were people protesting, right? And there was a counter protest, mainly women. Refugees are welcome. Do you not understand? Like, they did something to one of your own. Like, These people are not feminists. They're nuts. They're absolutely nuts. You've got men, right? A lot of men, they're mostly men and some women, fighting for this girl, right? And then you've got on the other side, mostly women, all coloured hair and everything, saying refugees welcome. Don't they realise what happened? Sorry, it's mind-boggling. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. I do get it. They're brainwashed. It's as simple as that. No one's going to brainwash me. I'm going to be the one to do the brainwashing. So you guys out there, all my clapped out old banger ladies and gentlemen, especially my groupies, right? Listen to me. I'm going to start a new religion. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to be the guru, right? And you could all follow me and send me lots of money. Send me lots of money, please, to my account. Oh, that looked horrible. So send lots of money to my account, or, you know, join my members section and send me, I don't know, if I can get 100 quid each person, 1,000 people. So 100,000? No way. Yeah, that's a thought. I need enough to pay for my doggies. I don't know. Just talking rubbish again. You know, you guys know I'm joking. But what can you do? Could you, like, when you see this stuff, you know, you don't even know what's true and what's false. Some people say, well, the demographics have changed, so what? There's not that many criminals out there. Whites are criminals as well. This equality thing again. But they don't understand that a lot of these guys come from low trust societies. They see something there, they'll take it. Whereas here, like, we've got a trust, is it honesty box or trust box, whatever, honesty box. Like, you can drive by and you can get, there's 6 eggs and it says £1 for 6 eggs. You put £1 inside the slot, there's a little slot like a box, and you just take 6. You can guaranteed in London, where I used to live, the slot box will be taken, and all the eggs there as well will be taken. There's no trust at all. Sometimes you've got these little slots and you can put £1 in or whatever, you can donate or whatever, and there's books there. Oh, that's a nice book. Put £1 in, you know. Where I was living in London, everything will be taken. And I'm telling you, this place in Norwich where I went, if you put one of those trust boxes there, the whole thing will be taken. You can see it's a ghetto. So it's everyone for themselves. So they come from societies maybe where there isn't this trust that we have, you know. But then they bring their ideas, you know. Once, I don't know, it's all not all negative, I suppose. It's like, what's that guy, that idiot, what's his name, Piers Morgan, he was saying like something like he would rather have a nice curry than, if you had to choose between white, like, middle-aged men, you know, that complain about immigration and stuff like that. I don't know what it was, but we'd rather have a good curry and then get rid of these men. What a traitor. What a traitor. He's always been a lefty at heart. Always been a lefty. Like that Russell Brand. They are lefties. They're just grifting. They're making as much money as they can from the right, because it's the flavour of the month, right? Of the period. But make no mistake, Russell Brand is a lefty. So is Piers Morgan. Lots of them are lefties, really hardcore lefties. But they're biting their lip. They're being really quiet because they're trying to make money from the right. I don't trust any of them, you know. Tommy Robinson, I don't trust him at all. You know who pays him, right? I mean, he says some good things, and I suppose he's done some good things, but the end of the day, follow the money. I'd be a trustable person, but once you get to a certain position, you're going to be bribed and bought off by the elite, whoever they are. Anyway, guys, oh my god, I was trying to make a 10-minute video. Can't I just shut up? All right, guys, I have to go. It's 35 minutes. I'm sorry about this again. Having to hear my ramblings for 35 minutes. All right. Yeah, so what do you guys think? Do you think, yeah, we can all live together in peace and harmony? I mean, technically it's possible, right? But when too many people of one tribe or one culture or race or whatever it's called move into an area, then it changes the demographics, the fabric, the whole vibe of the area. Is it a good thing or bad thing? I think it's a bad thing because it changes the area. So as I said, like if you go in an island, I don't know, a place in a town in I don't know, in Pakistan, and you fill it full of white guys, European guys, Pakistani, sorry, black guys, Chinese guys. It ceases to be that traditional town anymore. You know, people, Pakistanis rightly will be pissed off and say, what is this? It's not our town anymore. You know, we've got different people here, different ideas. They haven't blended in to our Pakistani ways. Like, we don't like this, you know? The thing is, they can say it, but because of cultural Marxism that has brainwashed so many of us, we can't say it. So, what do you guys think? Maybe there's no point in wasting energy on this stuff. I'm not angry or anything. You know, I'm just saying what I see, and I mean, I've lived in a ghetto, so it's all right. You know, I kind of know what it's like. But for people who've never seen it, who've never lived in a ghetto, who've never lived, when I say in a ghetto, I lived in London. That's one massive ghetto. There are nice places in London, but you're surrounded like, what do you mean London's a ghetto? London is a beautiful place. It's the people inside it that are a problem. You've got certain areas that are more affluent, and they're like an island. They're surrounded by ghettos, you know, by poorer areas. And what they do is these people from poorer areas migrate into the areas, commit crime, and then they get out because they can't, you know, some areas have become gentrified and they just can't. People that are poorer obviously have sold out, and they've left the areas. Not to say that I don't really even like those people that live in the gentrified areas, those snobby ones. I don't know what's worse. I mean, crime-wise, it's okay, but I did used to like living near black guys, like Caribbean people, like Spanish, Italian, Indian. We didn't have many Pakistanis, not many Muslims. You know, Chinese, English, Scottish, not many Welsh. But that was really nice growing up. That mix of people, you know. But then we didn't have many Muslims or Bangladeshis, or there's a new type of people, Turks. We never had like Somalians. We never had these people. They're more from like a Muslim background, you know. So black Caribbeans were Christian, Spanish, Italian, Christian, Indians like Hindu. So that it's, you know, they can adapt. They can. So, but now you're getting more like, you know, Muslim people, and Muslim people are okay, but there are some parts of their community that are really radical, militant. Is that what you call it? You know, so I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I just pray that they leave me and my dogs alone and my family alone. You know, but I think the English and the Irish may have to start noticing and saying something. I was going to say fighting back, but I don't mean physically. I mean, you know, and the problem isn't with the people here. The problem is with the government. They are the ones that let them in. They don't just come here and fight their way into the country like an invading force. They are allowed in. Anyway, that's enough. Speak to you guys another day. So take care. Bye.